Broccoli Yawa, Broccoli Yawa Shai, Broccoli Yawa, Broccoli Yawa Shai, Koholo Yahweh Bashim Yawa Shai, Bashim Hakadash. Double honor to Apostle and elders of Great North Zone that rule well to taught me this truth. Salutations to the Akim out there pushing the truth in all sincerity and wishing their lives to do so. Salutations to the hopeful elect that believe in the truth of Yahweh Bashim Yawa Shai that is scattered among four corners of the earth. Shalom. This is a part 2, a continuation to the video that I did the other day, dealing with the 2/3 and, how they are blinded and they can't see, the times of the end times that are currently taking place, that, the things that are, the current events that are taking place throughout the world are end time prophecy, and these are things that the Lord has ordained to happen, before his return to give the salvation to the nation of Israel. And, the only people that can really truly see, that these are the end time signs are the 1/3 of the nation of Israel that the Lord has, given the eyes to see and the ears to hear his prophecy. So I'm just want to play this video and then, go into the scriptures, dealing with, the current events in the times of Jacob's trouble that, we're in the beginning of.
At the moment, a lot of our leaders are not being brave. They're allowing the mob to run rampant. Tonight, there is new leaked audio from Chicago that shows exactly what was going on behind the scenes. It's remarkable, and not surprisingly, our chief breaking news correspondent, Trace Gallagher, has it all on tape. Trace?
Hi, Tucker. This was a conference call on Sunday, May 31st, to talk about Chicago's response to the widespread looting. On the call were Mayor Lori Lightfoot and all 50 Chicago aldermen and alderwomen, including Alderman Raymond Lopez, one of the mayor's harshest critics. Now, for context, on the day of the conference call, Chicago had 699 arrests, mostly looters. 132 officers were injured. There were 48 shootings, 17 homicides, and Alderman Lopez accused the mayor of being...
And that's total chaos right there, But it's been ordained by Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai to take place because, this is the time that we're in. He said 48 shootings, 17 deaths, and those deaths were, ordained by the Most High to take place, because that's judgment, that the Lord has, granted to the wicked, and these things are only going to continue to intensify.
Underprepared as the looting spread, saying his ward had become a virtual war zone. Listen.
Half our neighborhoods are already obliterated. It's too late. We have to come up with a better plan because my fear is once they're done looting and rioting and whatever's going to happen tonight, God help us, what happens when they start going after residents, going into the neighborhoods? Once they start trying to break down people's doors who they think they got something, we know that people are here to... And
that's going to happen because that's end time prophecy. Civil uproar and, racial wars are part of prophecy that the Lord has ordained to happen, in the end times. And these are the times that we're in. This is not a coincidence that we're experiencing these things, These are things that the Lord has ordained to take place. And, exactly what he said is what's going to happen because it's written in 2 Esdras 15. And we're going to get there here. In 2 Esdras 15:15, which reads, "For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another with swords in their hands." Yeah, as you can see, from the video, that there was mass shootings that were taking place or, doing, the rioting and looting, that was taking place. And, that's, part of prophecy, because the people are upset at the social injustice that's taking place, in Esau, Edom, and his system, So now, the Lord has put the spirit out there, the spirit of vengeance, in the world, to cause chaos, in these times, because this is the spirit that the Lord said he was going to unleash, in his visiting of the earth in the days, because the end has manifest, and these things are only going to intensify, as these people stand with swords in their hands, or their guns or whatever weapon that they have, to go out there and commit, mass slaughter, amongst each other, renewing, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, they shall regard their they should not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Yeah, so they don't have no regard or respect for the government or law enforcement, because as you know, during the pandemic and during the lockdown, what I'm saying, they was protesting, running up on city halls with guns, demanding the economy or society to reopen, and sending death threats to the politicians, to the city and the state governors or whatnot, demanding that they reopen so they can go on and survive in society, But even that, this is going to intensify, and those governors and those polices, there will be slain. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's even happening now. Even with this George Floyd thing, Jakes are still dying at the hand of law enforcement. As you know, the Wendy's incident that took place with the Jake in Georgia or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? He was put to death at the hand of law enforcement. And this is after the George Floyd incident. You know what I'm saying? So this goes to show that the Lord uses Esau Edom, you know what I'm saying, as his whipping stick. You know what I'm saying? And you're not going to receive justice on this end. So for you to go out there and protest for equality or social injustice, you know what I'm saying, you're doing it in vain, because you're not going to receive any justice at the hands of your enemy. You know what I'm saying? Because he has been ordained to to pretty much crucify you and to put you to death, and to punish you, through the powers of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. The Lord has granted him him that power to rule over you at this current point, but the Lord is going to take him out of power, and that's when you're going to receive your justice on that end, when you receive your salvation from Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. So what's currently taking place, has been ordained by the Lord. It's not going to end. So you out there, with these marching and protesting, it's not gonna. It's to no benefit. Even you Israelite groups like IOIC. You know what I'm saying? They went out there and was part of the protest or whatnot, or but more so they went out there for show, because they're all about recruiting members, and the more people that they have as part of the congregation, the more money that they make, because as you know, they're part of the 501(c), which is a tax-free benefit that they receive for joining up with the government. You know what I'm saying? And they're all about receiving luxury on this end. That's why they go around building schools and things like that, thinking that they're gonna get their message by building schools throughout the whole world. But the Lord has created the internet for that. You know what I'm saying? But that's something else to deal with, in itself. But yeah, for them to go out there and join in with the protest, is irrelevant, because there's no benefit that's going to come from it, because you're doing it vainly, because you're seeking justice at the hand of your enemy that you're not going to receive. You know what I'm saying? So reading on, a man shall desire to go into the city and should not be able. Yeah, because martial law is going to be set in effect, and that's why all this defunding the police force, this is going to lead to, because that's what they want. This is going to help implement their plan to bring in the mark of the beast, and having military force. These militaries, they're going to have no regards. They're going to be killing people at will. So reading on, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, and the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and the spoil of their goods, because of lack of bread and great tribulation. Yeah, because there's going to be famine, and people are going to do whatever they got to do to survive. So it's going to be survival of the fit. So they're going to be running into people's homes and putting people to death in order to for their own survival. And that's what the older man was talking about. He said after the looting stops, he's afraid that they're going to just run up on innocent civilians and cause mass chaos. And that's the spirit that the Lord has put out there, and it's going to intensify, because that is going to happen, as thus says the Lord, through the scriptures. Let's go back to the video. Come on, man. Let me refresh.
They got something. You know, we know that people are here to antagonize and incite, and you've got them all pumped today. They're not going to go to bed at 8 o'clock. They're going to turn their focus in the neighborhoods. I've got gangbangers with AK-47s walking around right now, just waiting to settle some scores. What are we going to do?
And the alderman wasn't exaggerating. In his ward, 2 Walgreens were burned down, along with restaurant shops and an entire strip mall. But when Lopez finished speaking, Mayor Lightfoot refused to respond. So Alderman Lopez demanded that she respond. Finally, she did. Watch.
I think you're 100% full of what I think. If you think
no offense, you then.
Hold on.
Who are you to tell me I'm full of
And if you think we were not ready and we stood by and let the neighborhood go up, there's nothing intelligent that I can say to you.
Well, maybe you should come out and see what's going on.
One of the stupidest things I have ever heard. I understand you want to preen. I understand.
Videos acting up, but as you can see, you know, the alderman of his city and the mayor, you know, of Chicago, you know, they're at odds. You know what I'm saying? You know, so there's division amongst them. You know what I'm saying? And you know, even that's prophecy in itself. You know, how can a kingdom stand if they're divided, as Yahweh Shah said here in Matthew 12 and 25, which reads, and Yahweh Shah knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? Yeah, so the kingdom's going to fall because they're going to be at odds amongst each other. You know, the Lord said he's going to set Egyptian against Egyptian, you know, which he has done in times past and which he's currently doing now, you know, because, you know, they're sitting at odds in their own territory in Babylon. And also, you know, he's going to set them at odds against, you know, their allies, you know, as part of the, you know, NATO in the European Union. Even those people, you know, that he's deemed his allies, Esau, you know, has deemed allies, or Babylon has deemed allies, you know, they're going to turn against him and, you know, commence World War III, you know. So a kingdom divided against itself can't stand, and that's just what the Lord has come. He said he's come not for peace, you know, but, you know, to cause division, and that's what he's doing. You know, he's causing division and breaking down Esau, Edom, and his kingdom. You know, so his kingdom won't stand because they're divided. And as you can see from that clip, you know, there's division amongst, you know, government officials, you know, in their cities, you know, and, you know, it's going to cause a great divide, you know, which is just going to bring to the downfall of their world and or their current system. Let's go to, bring up. This is Second Esdras 6 and 18, which reads, and it said, behold, the days come that I will begin to draw nigh and to visit them that dwell upon the earth. And this is the time that the Lord is doing so. And will begin to make it's like an inquisition of them, what they be that have hurt unjustly with their unrighteousness, and when the affliction of Zion should be fulfilled. Yeah, the Lord is going to end the affliction that's taking place to the nation of Israel, in his return, because he's going to bring down Esau, Edom, in his kingdom. And, these, things that are taking place are a sign showing that, we are in the end, and, we're pretty much at the end of our affliction. Reading on, and the world that shall begin to vanish away shall be finished. Yeah, because the world is beginning to vanish away now. This rulership, this kingdom, through these mass chaos that's taking place, because this is how Esau Edom came into power with going to war and coming to power ruthlessly. So he's going to be taken out ruthlessly, and this is the beginning of the downfall of his system, as you can see, because the Lord is slowly implementing his plan to tear down Esau Edom and his infrastructure. Shall be finished, and it's like, then shall I show these tokens, the book shall be opened before the firmament, and they shall see altogether. Yeah, so the book, the Lord is all the things that the Lord has deemed to take place for end time prophecy, saying it's taking place now. In the beginnings of Jacob's trouble, the Lord, we're in the times of the book of Revelations, that the prophets of the Lord that the Lord has set up on the highways and byways, specifically, the apostles of Great Millstone, Elder Apostle Tahar, Elder Apostle Ramla, and Elder Apostle Kabar, and Elder Apostle Ricard. The Lord has, set up these men who he has given his whole truth to, to break down these scriptures and, go into the books of Revelations and, give you the true prophecies of what is to take place in the end days. Because, these men have been, preaching, the downfall of Babylon and Esau Edom and his kingdom for 30 plus years on highways and byways. And the Lord has given them, the true breakdowns of the books of Revelations and the other books, and for many years they've been prophesying that these things were to come, and it's being fulfilled now. So the Lord has brought that forth. So the book has been opened before the firmament, and even as the internet is set up through satellite system, what I'm saying, and to the heavens, to the firmament, this word is going out. So the book has been unsealed, and it had been opened before the firmament, as they go and they upload these lessons, on the internet, as well as being on the highways and byways. They're speaking before the firmament, and of what the Lord has deemed to take place, at the end times, and they have been prophesizing these things, like I said, for 30 plus years, to the nation of Israel. And now these things are coming to pass, and, and these things are going to continue to come into play, because, this is what the Lord has deemed. And, these men, has, been given the knowledge, the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the books through the Spirit of Yahweh Shai. Your Christian pastors, they can't go and give you the breakdowns of Revelation, because they're going to tell you the book has been sealed. But here, the Lord says the book has been opened before the firmament, which means that the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding has been given to his men, to prophesy these things. And that's why these things are coming to pass, because the Lord has sent his men out to forewarn his people. And now that he's done that, the word has gone throughout the four corners of the earth, and now the end is coming, as he said that he will do, that the word had to go out throughout the whole world, and then the end shall come. Reading on, and the children of a year old shall speak with their voices, the women with the child shall bring forth untimely children of 3 and 4 months old, and they shall live and be raised up. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. Yeah. So all, the financial system is going to come to an abrupt end. As like people, the workforce is going to deplete. You know what I'm saying? That people are gonna lose jobs, as you know, that unemployment's at an all-time high. You know what I'm saying? They're saying that there's a shortage on coins or money or whatnot, which is, their storehouses becoming empty because, they're running out of money, they're running out of resources. That's why, Esau Edom, he goes and he tries to conquer lands to steal, their resources. But their kingdom is coming to the end, and the Lord is taking them out of power. And so they're losing that stronghold that they previously had on the world in itself, in society. You know what I'm saying? Because the Lord is bringing them down now, and the Lord is revealing, the son of perdition for who he truly is, and the world is starting to see who the devil is, who is Esau Edom, the so-called white man. So being that people are out of work, they have this unemployment set up to where they give you money, but how they giving you this money, but they don't have. They continue to bury themselves in thick clay, which is debt. You know what I'm saying? They're creating more debt for themselves, trying to please the people, with this shutdown that they have done, which is, cause unemployment, and they're creating money that they don't even have. So they're putting themselves in more debt. You know what I'm saying? So the banking systems is gonna be empty. But truly, that's what they want, because they want to go to the digital currency and bring upon the new world order, which will bring upon enslavement of the whole world into the new system. You know what I'm saying? But the Lord is gonna dead all that before they even get a chance to do so. But their banking system, or the monetary system is gonna come to a halt. You know what I'm saying? And they won't have anything in their votes to give away anymore. You know what I'm saying? So they talking about just universal basic income or whatnot. So where they're just gonna give you money, but how so? If they don't have anything to give. You know what I'm saying? But showing you that they're going to implement their new world order, and force you into in slavery. Giving you the carnal mark or the RFID chip. And as far as also with the food, with the famine. Then you're not gonna have food to eat. The storehouse is gonna be empty as far as being able to to eat for survival. You're gonna have to depend upon this system to do so. But the Lord is also gonna bring famine or empty the storehouse in that way as well. The trumpet shall be slacking, and the trumpet shall give a sound, which every man heareth, and slacking, they shall be suddenly afraid. Yeah, this truth is going to go out into the earth, and they're going to fear. They're going to fear, the coming of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. People are now in doubt. People are questioning. There's many people even questioning Christianity. And some people, they're starting to believe that, what they believed in, was false. You know what I'm saying? And they're starting to be afraid. And even now, they're saying that, they got to reconsider, the image of, who they ignorantly call Jesus Christ, you know what I'm saying, of being a so-called white man, because they know that that's a false image that, Esau Edom has created, to bring upon white supremacy, Reading on. At the time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear. But those that dwell therein, the springs of the fountains shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. Yeah, so the economy has come to a stop too, as you can see, and people are out there, fighting amongst each other. You know what I'm saying? There's people that's for the statues to stay in place. They're protesting about these monuments that they have built to represent white supremacy and the heritage that they've created for themselves in America. The U.S. flag, which is a representation of rape, robbery, and murder of the children of Israel. You know what I'm saying? But they hold that in high regard. They take pride in that thing, in their flag. You know what I'm saying? And these monuments that they've created of George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Theodore Roosevelt. You know what I'm saying? Winston Churchill. All these monuments that have representation of their forefathers that represent. You know what I'm saying? White supremacy and a system that they created for them, for themselves and their people. You know what I'm saying? Which is a representation to the nation of Israel of injustice, slavery, rape, robbery, and murder. You know. But yeah, you know, the Lord is bringing, you know, the society to a halt. You know, the mirth is no longer, you know, within this country. You know what I'm saying? Bring things have been things that, you know, people once enjoyed, like sports. You know what I'm saying? Going out to bars and, you know, restaurants and, you know, having parties and going to the beach. You know, the Lord has you know, shut these things down. You know, due to this pandemic that has taken place. You know, they can't enjoy, you know, the things that they once did. They can't go to these sporting events. You know, like, you know, they're trying to come up with ways now to bring the NBA and NFL seasons back. But you know, like the scripture says, you know, these things shall not run. You know what I'm saying? These things shall come to a halt because, you know, this is the end time prophecy that the Lord has manifest. You know, but they're trying to, you know, fight against this. But this is the Lord is doing. You know, so this is pretty much the end. You know, this is the new normal. You know, with in Babylon, but you know, these are things that, you know, are going to no longer exist. You know, because this is the end of their system. Read on. Whoso remaineth from all these that I have told thee shall escape and see my salvation in the end of the world. Yeah. So, you know, the only people that are going to escape, you know, all this judgment that's going to come to the earth is the elected nation of Israel. And that's what the Lord pertaining to. You know, in the scriptures that, you know, the Lord, those that have repented and returned into their power, you know, that have returned back into Yahweh Shem Shai, you know, those are the only people that are going to receive salvation. You know, the elect of the nation of Israel, because, you know, 2/3 of the nation of Israel is going to be destroyed in the Lord's return. But only the elect, you know, those that the Lord has chosen, will be saved and receive His salvation on this end. But, you know, all the 2/3 are going to be reborn back into the kingdom through the 1/3 elect. So they were going to also receive the salvation of the Lord, but they're just going to be destroyed on this side. And reading on, and the men that are received shall see it, and who have not tasted death from their birth, and the heart of the inhabitants shall be changed and turned into another meaning, for evil shall be put out, and the deceit shall be quenched. As for faith it shall flourish, corruption shall be overcome, and the truth which had been so long without fruit shall be declared. Yeah. So the truth is going to be declared. You know, the world going to know that, you know, the children of Israel, or this, you so-called Latinos, Negroes, and Native Americans, you are the children of the Most High, and you know, salvation is truly only for you. You know, they're going to see that, you know, when the Lord comes in His chariots to, you know, bring His elect out of the destruction that's to come, you know, because only the elect is going to be saved out of this. And the world's going to see that take place, you know what I'm saying? And the truth will be known. And, you know, once our kingdom is set up, they're going to know that, you know, they're going to have to come to us for all things then, you know what I'm saying? Just as we had to do in their kingdom, you know, we have to go to them to all needs and all wants, you know. But, you know, in our kingdom, they're going to have to do the same, but our kingdom is going to be ruled righteously. You know, it's not going to be an unjust or unrighteous system as Esau Edom has created, you know, in his rulership. This is the last book I want to read, but I want to start. This is 2nd Esdras 8:50, which reads, "For many great miseries shall be done. For many great miseries shall be done to them in the later times shall dwell. For many great miseries shall be done to them that in the later time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride. But understand thou for thyself, and seek out the glory for such to be like thee. For unto you is paradise open, the tree of life is planted, and the time the tree of life is planted, the time to come is prepared." Yeah. So the Lord is telling second Esdras here. I mean, Slaki. So the Lord is telling Esdras here, like, there's judgment that is to come to the ungodly that are in the world in these times, and he's pretty much telling them, concern yourself not with the ungodly, because the kingdom of heaven is built for those like you, reading on. I'm starting at 6 Esdras 8 and 15 again. For unto you is paradise open, the tree of life is planted, the time to come is prepared, plentiness is made ready, a city is built, and the rest is allowed, ye perfect goodness and wisdom. The root of evil is sealed up from you, wickedness and the moth is hid from you, and the corruption is fled into the hell to be forgotten. Yeah, so the Lord says, the evils that are to come is sealed up from the elect, and the hell he's talking about here is that these things that are to come are not going to affect, the elect. He has put them in the grave for them is forgotten, So the elect is, even though we're going to be here in the times of tribulation, Lord willing, I'm among that number of the hopeful elect. We're going to, see these things taking place, but we're not going to be affected by it, because the Lord is going to, provide for us during these times, the elect of the nation of Israel. And, we're going to see people, being put to death and, catastrophic things happening as the Lord has, set these spirits out, for judgment unto the wicked. Sorrows are past, and in the end it showed, and it's like it showed the treasury of immortality. And therefore ask no more questions concerning the multitude of them that perish. Yeah, so the Lord's saying, don't be concerned about those that are going to perish. So, for us that are, in the know, we're not supposed to be partaking in these protests or whatnot out there, seeking vain justice, what I'm saying? Because we're not going to receive justice at the hands of our enemy, we're pretty much here to serve out a punishment. So for you to go out there and be in the middle of these protests, what I'm saying, you're doing it vainly, and we're not to be concerned with that. That's only for the 2/3. We're not supposed to be worrying about them going out there being put to death. What I mean? Like for the instance, the George Floyd thing. What I'm saying? He was put to death because he was a wicked Jake, and that was the Lord's judgment. So we're not to be concerned about that. What I'm saying? We're not to be out there, looting and rioting and protesting for justice that we're not going to receive when it's in. We're not going to receive our justice until the Lord, take these Esau Edom out of power. What I'm saying? That's the true justice is going to be for us to, come into power and enslave those that have enslaved us. That's true. That's true justice right there. What I'm saying? But many of our people, they just want to be, go along and get along, saying that the Lord loves everybody, as they have been indoctrinated to believe by Satan himself. The devil in the flesh, Esau Edom, so-called white man. So reading on, for when they had taken liberty, they had despised the Most High, thought scorn of his law, and forsook his ways. Yeah, because the 2/3, they don't believe in the law, on the ways of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. You tell them that, they're not supposed to celebrate these wicked holidays, birthdays, Christmas, Thanksgiving. They ain't trying to hear that. You know what I'm saying? You tell them that they're not supposed to eat pork, shrimp, crab, or whatnot. So those are things that are abominable to the Lord, and you're not supposed to do so. You know what I'm saying? They tell you the hell with you. You know what I'm saying? Throw the middle finger up at you and say, I'm going to eat what I want. You know what I'm saying? The Lord has blessed everything. You know what I'm saying? But according to the scriptures, that's not so. You know what I'm saying? But due to plantation Christianity telling them lies, they believe that. You know what I'm saying? Also, you talk about, the homosexuality, and, the Lord don't love homosexuals. They say the Lord love everybody. Christianity even allow, homosexual ministers to preach their word, and they even get married. You know what I'm saying? How can the Lord ordain something or bless something that he's totally against? You know what I'm saying? Which is unrighteous, and that's why this place got to be destroyed for Esau Edom. You know what I'm saying? Turning this place upside down with all his wickedness. But this is his rules. You know what I'm saying? And in our kingdom, that's not going to be so. The people that do these things are going to be put to death. Reading on, moreover, they have trodden down the righteous. Yeah, they, these 2/3. They always want to, buck up against the men of the Lord. And in times past, our own people has put to death the prophets. You know what I'm saying? But those same 2/3, they're here now, and they're going to be put to death. You know what I'm saying? For all the wickedness that they've done to the Most High and His men that He has set up here, to preach His word into you. As you mock and scoff. You know what I'm saying? That's nothing. There's nothing new under the sun. That was your lot in times past, and that's your lot again. And you're going to pay for what you've done, because the Lord is reserving souls for the day of judgment. So if you haven't been put to death, you're just here as a 2/3 to be put to death in the return of the Lord, or during the times of Jacob's trouble. Reading on, and said in their heart that there is and said in their heart that there is no God, yeah, and that knowing they must die. Yeah, so the Lord is going to put these people to death. They gotta die. You know what I'm saying? Because they refuse to repent. They refuse to turn to the Lord. They don't believe in the God of the Bible. You know what I'm saying? They believe in the God of our plantation Christianity. They believe in so-called white Jesus, Jesus Christ. You know what I'm saying? They don't believe in Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, because they said there is no God. Your God don't exist. Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, He don't exist. He ain't no God. You know what I'm saying? And for that, they're going to be put to death, because they refuse to repent and return into their power. For as the things aforesaid shall receive you, so thirst and pain are prepared for them. For it is not His will that men should come to naught. Yeah, the thirst and pain is prepared for them, man. They're going to be judged during these times. But they which be created have defiled the name of Him that made them, and were unthankful unto Him which prepared life for them. And therefore is my judgment now at hand. Yeah, so this is the time of judgment, that the Lord has ordained to take place in the times of Jacob's trouble. We're at the beginning of these things, and these things are only going to intensify, as we get closer into the return of the Lord, man. So, all this protests, trying to seek social justice or fighting for social injustice, all this is done in vain, because, you're fighting for something that you're not. You're fighting for something, you're saying that, Black Lives Matter when you're truly not black. You're the children of Israel. You're of royalty. The Lord has ordained you, to be gods on earth. You know what I'm saying? And you're a people above all. You're a peculiar people above all nations, man. There's no equal unto you. But you've been indoctrinated and lied to, and by your enemy, your oppressor, to believe that we're all equal, that we're all God loves all, and we're all neighbors. But that's not so, according to the scriptures, and for that, you know what I'm saying, you're going to be put to death. So for those that are in the know, you got to give praises to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, that He gave you the discernment, to see what the truth is, and that you're able to see that, we're in end times, and that, all the things that are taking place, are just the beginnings of, the tribulation that's to come, and that, the Lord has led you to the men of great millstone, the men that the Lord has ordained and gave the 100% truth to go out and speak His truth into, the elected nation of Israel. And for that, you got to give great honor into your power. So, that's pretty much it. I hope the lesson is edifying. Just want to say, call all Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Double honor to Apostle Elder Great Millstone, and Abba Ball, and Shalom.